Welcome to Dusty Trails with EPI, everyone. On today's video, we're going to go over some basics that you might need to check before you go for a ride. Now, these are not things that you have to do, but these are things that I do myself. As soon as I get my ride off the trailer, I go through these simple steps to make sure I make it back to base camp. That's the most important part to me. Go out, have fun, make it back to base camp. Everybody has a great day. I hope this helps you out, and if it does, press that like button down below and keep on watching my videos. Tell others about my series, and we'll just keep on helping each other. God bless. Now, what I mean by the basics is there's 3 basics to every ATV, and that is how much gas you have, how much oil is in the engine machine, and how much tire pressure you have. Now, we're gonna start with number 1, which is checking your gas. For that, I'm gonna use a flashlight. This particular model of ATV does have a gas gauge. I trust it for the most part, but we're gonna check it old school style. Take the gas cap off. We're gonna turn on our handy dandy flashlight. We're just gonna look down in here. I'm gonna have to shake the machine a little bit to get it to slosh. Looks like we got about 3/4 tank to a full tank, and that's great. That's plenty of gas. Now we're gonna put our gas cap back on. So we have gas. Now, do we have oil? That's number 2. I've already taken the cover off of this one that exposes the oil filter that's in here and the oil dipstick that's down here. The oil dipstick is where you would fill or where you would check your oil. Now, we're gonna turn it to the left to take it out and check the oil level. Should only take 3 or 4 turns, and there it is. Now, you don't want your oil fill all the way up here. That's way too much oil. You only want your oil fill to be down here at the top of this rib. That's why it has ribs. You want to be at the top of this rib. Now, the first time you check it, it may not be a true reading. So let's wipe it off. Put it back in, turn it to the right. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Should only take 3 or 4 turns to get it seated back all the way down so we can get an accurate reading. There, the dipstick is seated all the way down. We're gonna turn it to the left once more and check it one more time. And here we are. The oil is showing all the way to the top of the rib, this top rib right here, and that is perfect. So we have oil. It's got a good color to it. It's not real dark. If it was real dark, it'd be time to change. So we're gonna put it back in. Turning it to the right. And you only want it finger tight. You don't want to use any kind of hand tools to tighten that dipstick down because you might crack it, and then one little piece of it fall down in there would not be good. Just want to hand tight down as tight as you can get it by hand, no tools. Now for number 3. Number 3 is checking your tire pressure. For that, I'm gonna use this gauge I use on my automobiles as well. Has a very easy to read out. Gonna go to your tires. All of them should have a valve stem. It's just like your dipstick. You turn it to the left and it'll come off. If your tires do not have a valve stem, get some at your local auto parts store, put them on there. It's good to keep the dirt out of them so you can add air if you need to, or take air out if you need to. Now this little button up here, you press it a couple times to reset it to 0. Then you just take this gauge and you push it on there. This tire seems to have right at about 10 pounds, which is where I like it. From the factory, this model came 6.5 pounds in each tire, and that seemed a little soft to me. So I upped them to 10 pounds and it felt a little bit better out on the trail. I had a little bit more stability that way. So we're gonna press this button to reset it and check it one more time. And there we go. Looks like about 10 pounds. That's where I like it. That's where I like to ride. And you can tell by the tire, it makes good contact with the ground all the way around the tire, inside and out. As long as it's making really good contact, you should have a pretty good ride and great traction at the same time. So back to the gauge, I'm gonna press this little button up here, set it back to 0, get my valve stem cap, righty tighty, put it back on there, nice and snug. Again, you don't need any tools to tighten this up, just finger tight is just as good. And that's how we check our tire pressure. You could always check your owner's manual to see exactly what tire pressure they recommend and adjust from there. Now, one last thing, I'm always preaching about it, but I'm gonna say it again. It's very good to have a helmet, your gloves cut down on blisters on your fingers, especially in this area from the thumb throttle, and goggles. If you've ever ridden behind somebody on a dusty trail, then you know just how important a good set of goggles is. Very important, super important. Never ever ride an ATV or a dirt bike without a helmet, and make sure it is strapped. If you don't know how to strap one, I'm gonna teach you now. All right. Just gonna take it through, both of them. Get it tied around your chin. You're gonna separate these. Run your strap back through the first one. Make sure it's snug on your chin. Tighten it. Then you're gonna snap it in place. As long as it's tied around your chin, that helmet will stay on you. And that's the way to secure the helmet. Make sure it don't fall off your head while you're riding. Make sure it's not too loose. You'll have a safe ride. Just do the opposite to take it back off. Just like that. Here, I'll show you one more time. It's got a clasp. You got these two buckles. Come from the inside. Go through both buckles. Just like so. Then you'll separate the buckles. Go around the one in the back, go through the one in the front for a second time. Then you'll clasp it. And that's how we do it. That's the proper way to secure that. As long as this part down here is good against your chin, nice and snug, you'll be safe. Now the second thing is, this part, this nylon part, is any cuts or any kind of threads coming off of it, it's not safe anymore. Same thing for this side. If this is cut anywhere in here, if it's starting to rip, starting to tear, especially around your buckles on both sides. If it's starting to rip, starting to tear, then sorry, you're gonna have to get you a new helmet. Same thing goes for the helmet itself. Always check it for cracks. If it have any kind of cracks, forget it. It's not safe. It's not gonna protect your head. This part is just a visor. You could always take the visor off and still use the helmet. If the visor happens to get a crack in it, that's okay. You can always take the visor off and run without it. I prefer one with a visor because it keeps the sun out of my face while I'm riding. But if the helmet has any kind of cracks in it, forget it, get rid of it. Don't even try to resell it. Just throw it away. Helmet, gloves, goggles. That was pretty helpful, right? It helps me every single time. But look, gotta check out your machine. Make sure your people's is okay. Make sure your helmet's okay. Which brings me to the last part of this video. Remember what Epa always says? Grab your helmet. It's a little pink. Let's go ride.